So one question I get a lot from students is how can they draw attention or call out a metric in a dashboard? And you can do this with the help of pre-attentive attributes. So what exactly is a pre-attentive attribute? Well, the helptableau.com site has this whole article on why visual analytics, and they go over the different kinds of pre-attentive attributes. You can see there's length, there's width, there's orientation. In this example today, I'm going to go over size and color hue. So in this Tableau public dashboard by Zainab Ayodemaji, there is, she's got this agents view where you can click on an agent, a call center agent, and this is using real world fake data. If you click on an agent's name, the dashboard will filter by that agent. And you can see there's a dot plot here with different users. And according to the bar chart that you select, the dots will change and the rest of the dashboard will change. So I took the bar chart and the dot plots from this design and put it in my own Tableau public dashboard with a couple of enhancements. So as you see here in my Tableau public dashboard, I've got some Harry Potter names because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And I enabled the option to where you select on a bar chart and it removes the highlighting using the true or false formula that I have in a previous video in my Tableau channel. You can check that out if you want to see if you want to learn how to do that. But you can also select the dot plots themselves and the rest of the dashboard will change. So it's got that interactivity across the dashboard, if you will. So let's go ahead and use the sample Superstore data set and start creating visualizations using some of the techniques as I showed you in the two previous Tableau public dashboards. So I'm going to go to sheet 1 and I'm going to put subcategory on the rows shelf, and then I'm going to drag the sales measure to the columns shelf. So it's creating this simple bar chart here. And I'm going to sort the subcategory by sales so that way I can have the highest values on top and the lowest value at the bottom. So I'm going to select sort here from that drop down, and I'm going to select field, and I'm going to select descending. This is a good practice to have so that way your user can quickly see the subcategory that had the most sales and the subcategory that had the least sales. And then I'm going to create a parameter. So if I right click on category, on subcategory, I can select create parameter. And this is a good method to use if you right click because it automatically gives it a name of subcategory parameter, and you'll see that it automatically inputs all of the values from that column in a list format. So you don't need to manually add all of those items there. So this is acceptable, this is okay, subcategory parameter, and then I'm going to click OK. Well, as you know, a parameter by itself doesn't really do anything. You need to create a calculated field referring to that parameter. So I'm going to right click on the parameter now and select create a calculated field. And the benefits of doing this is that it puts the parameter right inside the calculated field. And I'm going to call this selected subcategory. And all this is going to do is saying, hey, subcategory parameter equals subcategory. And that is it. It's going to create a true or false value and or a Boolean calculated field, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to place this on color. So we can see accessories is the selected subcategory here, and by default it's orange. And all of the other subcategories that are not selected are in blue. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to click on color and select edit colors, and I'm going to pick a light gray for the false value. I'm going to select that false value and select that light gray. And then I'm going to go back and pick like the default purple for true. And this is really, it really makes that accessories pop with that color pre-attentive attribute here. So this is the first step that we're going to do. And I'm going to rename this bar. And then I want to apply this to a line graph. So I'm going to click on a new sheet. And I'm going to put order date on the column's shelf. And I'm going to select the continuous month from the drop down. I can see that there's year, quarter, month, day, and then there's year, quarter, month, day. So the first set are going to be your discrete values. The second set are going to be your continuous date values. So I'm going to select month here. And then I'm going to put sales on the rows shelf, and I can see that it's showing what's called seasonality to your data here. And I want to show all of the subcategories. Right now it's showing an aggregation of everything, of how the sales were over time. So I'm going to drag subcategory onto detail, so it'll add the subcategory granularity to this visualization. And right now it's a whole bunch of lines, so I'm going to grab that selected subcategory calculated field that I created and place it on color. And as you see here, Tableau remembered the colors scheme from the bar chart. So that true value is automatically purple, and those other values, those other subcategories are automatically gray. But I want to make this pop a little bit more, so I'm going to use the pre-attentive attribute of size. So I'm going to place that selected subcategory on the size marks card. So we can see, okay, it makes it a really thick line and makes it really stand out. Another trick I like to do is I like to right click on the axis and select edit axis. I like to remove that title, that month of order date, because it's not really adding anything to my visualization. So when I delete that title, it really brings the visualization down. The other thing I like to do is right click on the axis and select format. And I like to abbreviate my axis by doing a custom 3-letter, 3 M's, indicating abbreviation for the month. And then I like to do 2 Y's for the year. So it's a 3-letter month, a space, and then 2 Y's for the year. And it really condenses the bottom part of the axis. So let's go ahead and call this worksheet line. And then I'm going to create a scatter plot. So I'm going to click on a new worksheet, and we need 2 measures for a scatter plot. I'm going to select profit and put it on the rows shelf. And then I'm going to select sales and put it on the columns shelf. So as you see here, we've got one single dot here that's showing you the total profit and total sales of your data set. And we want to make this more granular. So we're going to drag subcategory onto detail. So we can see, the different accessories, where they are with profit and sales. So I'm going to change the circle. I'm going to change this to a circle marks type from this marks type drop down to kind of fill in those different circles. And then I'm going to put that selected subcategory calculated field we created on color, just like I did with the previous 2 worksheets. And I'm also going to put this on size, like I did on the previous line graph. So we can see that, wow, this really made that purple circle really large. And these little tiny, the other accessories are really a lot smaller. So I'm going to click on that size slider and then take it up to the next notch. I know that purple is really large now, but there's another trick that we can do to make them a little bit not so, Not so different. So I'm going to click on edit sizes on this size legend that was added once we added that selected subcategory to the size marks card. So I'm going to select edit sizes, and I'm going to drag the slider down on this edit sizes pop-up menu. So I can see to make the true just a little bit bigger than the false, not such an extreme change in shape. So I'm going to click apply, and as we see, okay, that looks a lot better. And I'm going to click OK. Another thing I'm going to do here is, I kind of want to make them pop a little bit more. So on the color marks card, I'm going to add a border. So I think adding a border makes it look a little bit more crisp here. Another thing I like to do is I find grid lines to create what's called visual noise. So I like to remove grid lines across my visualizations. And another quick tip that's a good habit to get into is to go up to format even before you start creating anything. Format workbook, and then you can edit the lines under lines. You see the format workbook shows up on your formatting pane, the data pane over there. And I'm going to select turn the grid lines off. Oh, yep, that turned a lot of the grid lines off. I'm going to take off the 0 line. I don't think it really adds. Some people like to keep it on. I'm just going to turn it off by selecting that off drop down. And I like to take off the axis rulers too. I turn those off. So now this is turned off for all of my worksheets at once, instead of having to select format on every single worksheet. So don't forget that format workbook menu is up there. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this scatter. So now I'm going to bring it all together onto a dashboard. So I'm going to click on a new dashboard, and I am going to select a fixed size just for this example, and I'm going to select generic desktop. Another thing that I don't like is if you go to dashboard, I remove the phone layouts for new dashboards. You can keep it on. You just have to set up your layout for like phone views. That's all. So I'm going to uncheck that, and that'll remove the phone layout. So I'm going to add my bar chart sheet first to this dashboard. Then I'm going to add my line chart, and then I'm going to put my scatter underneath the line. Another thing here is don't forget when you click on some of these things is it looks better sometimes if you expand the entire view. So I'm going to click on my bar chart and select entire view. So it brings it down. I'm also going to take off these hide field labels for rows because I don't think it really adds anything. And I'm going to remove the legends. You could always bring the legends back later if you need them. But now I want to add a parameter action so that every time my user selects a bar, both the line and the scatter plot change as well. So I'm going to go up to dashboard and select actions. And then I'm going to add a parameter action. So I'm going to change the parameter. And then I'm going to, you can rename it accordingly to what you want. So, I can't think of anything right now, but make sure that your bar, your line, and your scatter are all selected. Run action on select. And I'm going to check that subcategory parameter, and then I'm going to check the source field that it's pointing, like the subcategory parameter is for the subcategory. And I'm going to keep the current value for clearing the selection will. So once you add this and click OK, and then click OK again, now when you click on a new bar, it's going to change the sales line, the line chart, and it's going to change the scatter plot. So if I'm on the scatter and I click on a different dot plot, it's going to change the bar and the line chart. And the same thing for the line chart. So this is a way to call out, these different subcategories with the use of the pre-attribute of size and the pre-attribute of the pre-attentive attribute. Sorry, I keep forgetting the pre-attentive attribute of color.